Okay, so hello everyone. So I joined CryptPad last year, and I'm here to present you like the product and the future directions. So it's called Securely Collaborate with CryptPad, and so it has already been. CryptPad has already been presented last year, but I will start again, like showing you what it's all about. Yes, no. Okay, Okay, so CryptPad, what it is, it's end-to-end encrypted, like collaborative Office suite. So you have a lot of different applications inside CryptPad. So it all started as a project. As a name, the name is a bit confusing because you may think it's only for pads. And actually, it started like this. There were only pads. But then if you think about it, like all files are just like text files. And that's how we managed to be able to produce a lot of different applications from that. So some of them are like homemade, like the Kanban one and the form one are really and have been made with our own little hands. While some other, like which text, whiteboard is for instance draw.io. Like those three presentations, spreadsheet and document are only Office. So we either like build a full application or just try to use other applications and plug it onto the CryptPad layer, which is basically the encryption part. And the goal of all of this is to have both collaboration and privacy, because when you think about it, when you are collaborating, you want to share some data, but then you don't want to share it with everyone. You want to share it with your collaborators first, and then maybe once you have a full document, you want to share it to others. And moreover, you may not want to have like the service provider, so in our case it will be CryptPad, but if you are using like some proprietary stuff, you don't want it to know what you are working on sometimes, even if sometimes when you're a company, you are working with Google for Business and then you just give them all your data. But anyway, here what we are advocating is that, we can have both collaboration and also privacy, like for your end users, for our end users, which may be you. Okay, anyway, I should have closed Thunderbird. I'll do it. Take. Okay, good. And so one example of that is Disha Ravi, who is an Indian activist for climate, which have been arrested in India near Bangalore, because she was working on the farmer toolkit. So as you may know, like for instance, right now in France there is like some farmer protests, but in India it was more. There was one as well in 2020, 2021, and actually the thing on which Disha Ravi was arrested on was for helping writing the farmer toolkit, which is a document helping the farmers to cooperate and get together, because India is a very multicultural subcontinent, so it was a big help for them. And actually the document was published on CryptPad in the end. And but at first it was made on Google Docs, and Google helped India police. It can be understandable in some sense, because it is a big market to become, but I'm not here to judge, but at least we cannot sell your data to anyone. And how does it work? So now let's get into it. So basically, we have a model where we have a central server which will deliver the files, but the files are all stored. So this picture is actually not really accurate, because here what you see is that you have the first pingu, which is writing hello, sending it to the server in an encrypted form, which is then broadcasted as well in this encrypted form, and then as it's a symmetric encryption and everyone has the key, they can all decrypt. Actually, it's not exactly like this that it works. It will be like saying, oh, I wrote an H, and then it will send, I wrote an H, then you said I had an E, and so on. But like it will just be like difference between, it will be diffs patches. But here we just simplify things, and so we decided to keep this centralized part, because in the end we could have imagined something like peer-to-peer, but then it will be hard to synchronize. We'll have like issues, like if a message arrives before another, we'll have another issues. But as we already have a server that delivers the file, we can also use it like to coordinate communications. And that's how we managed to have, to achieve our goal of having end-to-end encrypted collaborative edition. Sorry. And right now, so that was the presentation about CryptPad. And about this, we recently, we are mostly done on it, but we had an NLNet project, which is called Blueprints, where the goal was to analyze the security of CryptPad and try to find new directions, prepare for the future here, as I wrote it here. No. And so we had many different improvements that have been shown by this analysis. So there are many things actually in CryptPad because it's basically something that may be called cryptography driven, where basically our design really rely on cryptography. Like for instance, when you log in, it is used. Your password plus login is used to derive your different keys, like signing keys, and asymmetric encryption, and everything. And so everything is based around this. And for instance, we don't store, for instance, a hash of your password and then try to match it. So for instance, it makes password recovery a big hassle. We cannot do. We just can't do it. When you subscribe on CryptPad, there is a big warning saying, "Don't forget your password." But of course, people forget it. As well, as we are also mostly working with the document keys that we are sharing with people, we don't have any ratcheting or any key rotation. And then, for instance, revocation, also no foreign secrecy, but I won't talk about it. So for revocation, it's also hard to get. And also another hot topic, right now in the cryptographic community, it's post-quantum crypto. So there have been the NIST, the NIST, which started post-quantum candidates evaluation in 2015, and 2022, almost last year because we are at the start of a new year. In 2022, there have been the first selected new standards. So it was Falcon, Dilithium, Kyber, and another one. But anyway, so the thing that right now as well, as I said earlier, CryptPad started just as a small project in the company, and then it's expanded. But the core is still there, and the core is not really easy to work around. So there is also a lot of refactor to do about the cryptographic layer in order to move toward cryptographic agility. And actually, in between all of these different improvements, I will talk about the password recovery because it's something that user may want. And so let's talk about it. So as I said, it's something cryptographically driven. And I said that users are identified with their signature public key. And the thing that this relation is only one way. If you know your password and login, then you can get this public key. But basically you cannot relate it any other way around. Yep. And the thing that we have something which have become a hassle to solve because of cryptography. So one solution is just hey, let's add more cryptography. So we'll add something which is called linear secret sharing, or sometimes Shamir's linear secret sharing, which is the idea that you want to be able to share a secret between multiple parties. And then if a subset of them, above a certain threshold, but it can be more complex data structure, but anyway, let's keep it simple. So if you have more than a certain threshold, if you have for instance, you split your key into 5 and you want at least 3 people to collaborate, for instance, the majority, to be able to reconstruct it, then you can get the key back at the end. So what we'll use is social linear secret sharing, something akin to the ring of trust, where you will share your keys between different participants. And then you have to trust them, of course, because if 3 of them collude, then they know your password. And here we can see a weird reference, which is Reed Solomon's code, because it's basically the same ideas of splitting things. So yeah, for instance, for me, I came from the cryptographic community, and we like code people because they are always telling us, oh, but code people invented everything before you. And I mean, at least this time it was true. Not always, but sometimes. And what is social secret sharing? So as I said, you have a secret. Like for instance, here it will be your password. Maybe not your passwords, even like directly like some keys to a file which contains part of the thing in order to be able to have some kind of revocation. So you have your secret and you share it between your friends. And then they all keep a shard, a part of it. Individually, they cannot do anything with it. But then if you ask, like for instance, here I will take the majority vote. So if you ask 2 of them, then you can get your secret back. I mean, hopefully they won't keep it to them. And then once you have your secret back, then maybe you can change your password with other convoluted way, but that's the idea. So then, in some sense, you cannot lose your password because it's always somewhere there. Obviously, it's not very sound because if, for instance, some people are not connected, because the thing is that you also have to think about UI and UX, so how will it work? So if they have to click on a button, they have to be connected for that. You have to contact them, but I mean, it's still way better than losing your password in the end. And this raises like a lot of different questions. Like for instance, as I said, how will we like make it understandable for the users? Because we don't want them to have like really just like a JSON, some JSON text that they have to send you back. You want it to be stored properly, so maybe directly on CryptPad, but then there is a risk explanations because you have to tell them like what is sensitive, what is not, what you can do, what you can't. It's an unusual system for users. I mean, maybe for good reasons, but anyway, I don't know a lot of systems where you have this kind of things implemented. And I think it's something like, okay, so something I didn't say about CryptPad, that one of the aim is also like user friendliness. We don't want, for instance, something like PGP, which PGP is a very nice tool, but it's hard to get around it when you are starting and you just want to do something simple. You have to read the documentation, see exactly what you want to do. Even the OpenSSH client is like a really powerful tool, but not very user-friendly. But for us, we want something that, well, a lot of our users just want to use CryptPad because it's open source and it's an Office suite, not because it's end-to-end encrypted. So we also want to keep this user base, and we think it's important to make cryptography available for everyone. And then also, like, it just, in the end, just some displacement of the issue, because, like, before, we were like, oh, but we can just lose everything. So now we may not lose everything, but then some other people, like, if the trustees, if your friends are not very trustworthy, then they can call you and compute back your secret. I said, if they are not available, then you can do much, and that. No. So yeah. So to conclude, I'll come back on everything I said beforehand. So CryptPad is an end-to-end encrypted collaborative Office suite, and everything in this sentence is important. It's collaborative. You have all the, most of the tools you want. And it's also secure, as in it's end-to-end encrypted. As I said in the previous talk, we also have like other, I said it, other issues, like we cannot guarantee, as of now, we don't guarantee that the code you are executing, because it's JavaScript running on your browser, that it's indeed the real one. So there are also some other parts where we still can do better, we still can improve, but this is also one very sensitive thing. It's end-to-end encrypted, but there are also like some cryptographic solution for that. But yeah, it can be quite expensive. But we are also thinking about how to go toward this direction. I forgot to tell you about this, but as a full Office suite, you also have other as a collaborative Office suite, you have other collaboration tools that are available, like calendars. Unfortunately, we can synchronize them directly using CalDAV because it's encrypted on the server side, so it cannot serve it directly, and we don't want to send the server the key. We also have like some teams, a way to share your document, and calendars in between a team. Like for instance, like right now in CryptPad, we are working, like in XWiki in general, we are working using CryptPad, and we have like different teams, like one for the support teams, one for the CryptPad teams, like to organize things and stuff where we can find every document that we need, like for like the other sites, for instance. Also, like one of the important points that it aims at being user-friendly. And so for the future, we want like to go toward crypto agility, like making the code more modular and that we can switch algorithm like more easily to move toward post-quantum secure collaboration, which will be a way stronger security guarantee than what we have nowadays. Even if like right now, if you, I mean, basically like as all the symmetric part is still like more sturdy than the asymmetric part, what is stored in the server, I mean, the data are kind of okay, even if, let us imagine that there is like a quantum adversary right now. It will be more like someone can impersonate you, which is still a big issue, but I mean, if you just get the data on the server, you cannot do much more from that. You need extra information, even if you have a quantum computer. There is also this revocation, which I didn't talk about at all, but it's also an interesting issue to handle because it may help us to move toward forward secrecy, which is nice to get because it will mean that if you get a document at some point of time, you don't know what happened before, and you can be revoked, and then you won't know what will happen in the future on this document. We also can imagine other ways to resolve, I mean, so right now I was mostly talking about like we have a central server and stuff, but we can also use like conflict-free replicated data type, like CRDTs, to like try to solve conflicts and stuff, because right now it's really something very, very naive, which works like in the end because in text you don't have that many weird conflicts that happens. And yeah, as I said, proof of correct execution. So now, as a last word, I will just present that. I mean, it's just the CryptPad team, and so thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
I have two questions. The first one, I visit CryptPad only for document writing, something like a Google Docs, but I have only a little problem for me is to have a full screen document. It was information about CryptPad, were informations about CryptPad around the document, not like Google Docs, by instance. So I was at the beginning of this kind of thing, but maybe it can be resolved with a full screen text, something like that. So when I go to CryptPad, the first time. So the second one is interfacing with different type of document, worksheets, database, also text to stable, and so on, because Google Docs and Google Sheets, there is not a good interfacing between both. And I will be happy if it will good in CryptPad. So, okay.
Okay, so let me be rephrased to be sure. So you said that the interfacing between spreadsheet and documents are not that good, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like so far with both, we are right now depending on OnlyOffice, which we are also like, which we interfaced with the CryptPad servers. But yeah, it will be kind of hard to get. We can try to, we are always trying to improve things, but yeah, I know that we have Wolfgang here, who is working mostly on this part, but yeah, I don't, yeah, maybe it will improve, but we'll keep it in mind and let me see, yeah. And user interface. Yeah, we are working a lot with user interface. Actually, the team, the project lead is a designer, so he's really giving us feedbacks about how to make things fitting nice. And yeah, any other questions?
From OnlyOffice are here.
Yeah.
Hi.
We'll discuss about it.
Hi. Thank you for your
Yes.
talk. I've been helping package CryptPad for NixOS, Nix packages, and one thing that came to my attention was that the whole thing is like 800 megabytes, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And then I noticed that it's the integration with OnlyOffice that takes a lot of space. I just wanted to know if, I mean, are you keeping that in mind in the future? Will you keep it? Because it's quite big for like if you compare it to a WordPress release, for example, the difference in size is huge.
The thing that we have, I mean, we don't have the original version of OnlyOffice, because the thing that we only keep is the OnlyOffice client, and the server part, we are emulating it with CryptPad, basically. So we need to have this hacked OnlyOffice in our repositories, and every time we need to make an update, it's a mess. But we are aware of this issue. We are trying to find a solution, but we have also other issues to handle. But yeah, thanks for your feedback.
Hi. A question. So what are exactly the technical limitations at this point? Because you showed the secret sharing. I imagine, I'm not a cryptographer, so based on the theory, the more people who are collaborating at that point, the more harder it would be to manage. So what are like the other technical limitations perhaps that you see at this point from that?
Sorry, technical limitations for what?
Technical limitations for the CryptPad. You showed the example of the secret sharing, right?
Yeah.
Where you have a secret shared between different users.
Yeah.
The more you scale with the users for any document, the more it might be complicated, right?
Yeah, actually, here's the main. Here's, I mean, the. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. So basically, the question was that what are the technical limitations of CryptPad? Like in this context about secret sharing, for instance, there may be scalability issues, and actually, the thing is that, like for that, it will only be like small islands where you will share. I mean, you will only have like small sharing islands. For instance, for scalability issues, we don't have any issues with the number of users growing in terms of collaboration, because in the end, on a single document at a single point of time, there won't be that many people will be working on it, and the server is only acting, I mean, is only there for communication, because it doesn't, I mean, there is really not much processing done in the server, because it cannot done anything. It cannot be done. So it's all spread within the clients, within their browsers, which makes it a bit of an issue on mobile devices, for instance. But for secret sharing, this won't be a technical limitation. Like as I said, the main bottleneck with the use of cryptography is the fact that it will block us it will make some functionalities harder to implement because everything is hidden and you don't have access to it. But at least as far as I understand, like for secret sharing, it may not be an issue. The main issue will be that you have to coordinate with the other parties, but that's all. Yes?
Sorry, Ludovic also from the team. To answer to the next person, one of the big reasons there is a lot of space is that we have multiple versions of OnlyOffice. And the reason is because we store in the native format of OnlyOffice for the real time. Because of real time, we're not storing the Excel version. So for compatibility reason, when we upgrade CryptPad, we need to be able to upgrade the pad. So we need the older version so that we can upgrade the pad to the newer version of OnlyOffice. And there is a plan to make the installation of the OnlyOffice modules optional and basically say, which ones do you want in your CryptPad so that you're not carrying very old versions of OnlyOffice code in CryptPad. And this is why it's so big. We're sorry about that, but there is a technical reason.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Thank you. So yeah, I think we are done with this talk. Thank you, Fabrice.
Thank you, everyone.